Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Lucas. I'm from Paraguay and I'll be teaching you how to do a sample passage of the ACT English section. So, forgive me for my speech, English is not my first language. So, let's begin. Okay. So, the best approach here is to do one paragraph at a time. So, that's the most efficient way to manage this section. So I do not recommend doing each question individually, but considering the whole paragraph. So here we have a very short paragraph. So the farmer, my neat boss, handed me a bucket pointing down a long row. Carbon dioxide this way, he said. Muscadine starts 2 rows over. Okay. So here we have our answer choices. So we can discard this option. It's not D. By pointing, no, that's not either, because by pointing means that he handed you by pointing it. That's not correct here. So these both are plausible. So the difference is going to be so here pointing is ambiguous, right? So we can say a bucket pointing down a long row. So I can read that and I could think that the bucket is pointing. So we're going to use and to eliminate that ambiguity, right? So when we are having an answer choice, two answer choices that are rather similar, we have to choose the less ambiguous one and also the shorter one. I'll look at another example of a shorter one, right? So we can see that we have a long question that is more about the text as a whole. So it's about the topic of the essay. So we're going to flag that question and skip it for a while, and then we're going to come to look at it again. Right, so we have another one. From a distance the field had looked contained and orderly, with its grapevines in row upon tidy row. They were all the same breadth and spaced the same distance apart. Right. So I read the whole paragraph and now I'm going to focus on this part. We can use the highlighter here. So they are here. It's not correct because for it to be correct we would need to start a new sentence. So it's not our answer choice here. The same for A. So we can use all here, and this question, this answer choice is correct, but it's too long. So we're going to choose D. Right. So I'm taking quite a long time, just explaining everything. For instance, the sin was right. So in order to answer this question, we must consider the whole paragraph. From a distance, my mistake, sorry. From a distance. So we are contrasting two different views here. So he was talking about how it looked from a distance, and now we're going to choose up close is the correct answer here. The scene was more. So the scene is our subject and we need to describe it using an adjective. Chaos is a noun, so it's incorrect. So chaotically is also incorrect because when we have Lee, it's an adverb and it's describing a verb. This is a noun, so this is wrong as well. We have two answer choices again. And now we're going to deal with a comma problem, I think. I'll read it again. For instance, the scene was more chaotic and continuous. So, okay. So this is the correct answer, I can tell, just by my gut feeling. But hey, so this is an adverb, and it's describing this verb, the verb to be. So it is enchantingly chaotic. Okay, so chaotic is describing the scene, and enchantingly, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that word, is describing the verb to be, right? So this is not correct. Enchantment is a noun, and it's not correct in these circumstances because a noun cannot describe another noun or cannot describe a verb. Okay, so we have bind, sting, around in all directions. Cluster of grapes dropped haphazardly. Given that all the choices are true, which one continues to provide a contrast with a description? So we're looking for a contrast with description in this paragraph first sentence, that is this sentence. From a distance, the field. So we know it's tidy, and here these two are irrelevant. They have no connection to the first sentence. So we have two answer choices, dropped haphazardly. I'm not quite sure what this word means, but I can still answer this question by knowing that this answer is not correct. Why is not correct? Because we are asked to find a contrast. That means two different ideas. So here it says neatly, and they were talking about them being neat in the first sentence. So this is wrong. Answer is A. Now we are halfway through the passage. So the other portion of the bias had already been cleaned. I could see the other workers nearby. Given that all choices are true, which one most effectively focus on the act of one person picking up the grapes? So we know this is irrelevant. This is irrelevant as well. And this is also irrelevant. So they are asking about one person picking up grapes. They're not asking you to talk about your family. So B is the right answer is describing someone picking up grapes. I stuck my arm shoulder deep into the massive leaf and fell a cluster there. Right. So we already did 2 paragraphs. We're going to read this. I already noticed something here. I'll just tell you in a minute. Right. So what is the question? Right. So we need to find the correct tense here, and it's have grown. It's not growing. Because for us to use are growing, we need the verb, the auxiliary verb to be are growing, and we have not any verb here. It's nowhere to be seen. To grow is infinitive. It's not correct as well. You can tell just by the fact. So if we delete the highlighted text, the governors and mescalines, while in the southern states for centuries there's no verb in the sentence, it is have run, because have run is a present perfect tense, and it connects to the fact that they are still rowing. They are not. They have not stopped to grow. So if we said grew, that means it's over. But if we say have run, they are still rowing up to date. Right. So that small verb can make a difference. Few farms cultivated commercially. So There is not correct. It cannot be it, so we are removing two choices here. It cannot be it because scappernouns and muscadines are it's a plural noun, so it must be them. We cannot use it for more than one object. The grapes have a faintly musty flavor. So I think this is another another. I'm going to flag this. All the choices are true. Which one providing information that is most relevant to the focus of the paragraph? So we already read the whole paragraph, so we can answer this question already. So the paragraph talks about the flavor, and they are describing it. They can be twice as big as the grapes. Okay. So this option is irrelevant because we're not talking about any farm. It's not. So this is irrelevant as well. This is also irrelevant. So this is the only choice that matches with the style of the whole paragraph. So you can notice how different the other sentences are. So we're going 11. So we can skip this paragraph for the moment. We're going to go for this one, or you can skim this, just read it quickly. So here colorize is not the correct verb. It's going to be change color because this is shorter, the most concise answer, and colorize is not appropriate here. I cannot explain why, sorry. But it's not appropriate here. But when the fruit which grows in vineyards. Okay, so this has been answered in previous paragraphs already, so it's going to be just fruit. Always the most concise answer. So we need to consider the function of this conjunction here. But when the fruit which grows in vineyards, so with when the fruit, so we eliminated this, is deep in the vine, so a vineyard. If would be correct if the whole sentence was written in another way. This is not correct here. So we would say if the grape is deep in a winemaker can have a hard time seeing the color of the grapes, but it's not the case, so we're going to eliminate this. The same for weather. So if and whether are most of the times interchangeable, and so is used to offer an explanation, and the sentence will make a perfect sense without so. So it's option D. So we're going to do the last 14. After filling my bucket to the brim. Okay, so this is one hard question. We cannot use a column here. And we cannot use a semicolon, because for us to use a semicolon, this here, both sentences must make sense without the other. So if we eliminate this, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense, right? So this is not as well. So why is A? Because here we are interrupting two essential parts. So when we have a comma, most of the things inside a comma could be eliminated and the sentence would still make sense. So if we eliminate after filling my bucket, it will still make sense, right? But if we eliminate this to the brim, does not make any sense by its own. So it's A, no change. Last question, and we're going back to the second question. So here it's quite easy to see that this option is correct because they are using the past tense consistently throughout the paragraph. So it's spat. So this is an incorrect form of the past tense of spit. Would have is always incorrect. So would have is always incorrect. It should we would have, and this is incorrect always. It is never correct. So I'll leave that out. So have spat, as I said before, is talking about present tense. Is present perfect. So in this case, there is no connection to the present. So this is incorrect, leaving A as the only choice. And we will go back to this question. So the writer would like to introduce the topic of the essay by closely connecting to the opening paragraph to the setting that is described in the rest of the essay. So the rest of the essay is all about describing scoponogs and muscadines. So option A is correct. We can see that option B is not relevant to the whole grape theme. This could be misleading, but this as well. This could be misleading because it's describing scoponogs and muscadines, but this is incorrect because the focus of this paragraph is to introduce scoponogs and muscadines, and this paragraph is about describing it. So in this first paragraph, option A is the best option, and we can end this. I don't want to do any more. So oh, I missed one. Oh, I picked the incorrect one in 5. My mistake. So as I say, it was enchantingly so. I just clicked wrongly. So I will just show you the correct one. Just to be sure. It was question 5. Yes, it's this one, B. We can end this section and we can see that it's correct. Yeah. So I clicked the wrong question. Be careful. Be careful when transferring your answers.